All right, we're back on the F-150. It's a cool Saturday afternoon. I am desperate to get this rear end fixed correctly. I really need to get this truck running for my daughter. So, it's still making that vibration. It kind of, it really kind of happens more between like 40 miles an hour and 60 miles an hour. Right around 70, it's less. It doesn't happen less. You just feel it less because you're going faster. So it's a harmonic vibration. I don't hear anything, but I sure feel it. Anyway, here's the carrier. This is the side, the driver's side carrier bearing. The driver's side is where I'm getting a noise when I'm rotating the wheel by my hand, but I can't hear it when I'm driving down the road. I can only feel a harmonic vibration, it just kind of brrr, brrr, and then it's random brrr, brrr, and you can feel it in the truck. So after having this thing out a couple different times and checking it, the races are beautiful. The races are fine. I don't feel anything. See that little discolored ridge? It's not a ridge. I cannot catch my finger on that. So these bearings look, for all intents and purposes, they look nice. Another thing that I did find once I pulled this out this morning, that right there was inside of this bearing, inside this groove here. And I can see a little bit more right there. See if I can get it out for you, or for myself. Anyway, I used a blue RTV, and I don't think that I used too much. This is black RV, like the last RTV, I should say, not RV. I got a 440 on my brain that I really want to get to. It's in a RV. Anyway, black RTV caulking inside of here. The last time it was rebuilt, they put the cover on with black RTV, so maybe they just overdone it a little bit. Look, here's some more. Right there. So that probably got in there, but I mean, it's been almost 100,000 miles since this rear end has been rebuilt. It's not quite 100,000, but it's pushing the cusp of 100,000. I don't feel anything when I do that. Just those little lines on there. I'm going to flip this over and check the other side out, see if we can get any RTV out of that one. Ah, look at that. Gobbledygook down inside the bearings. This is the only drawback from using RTV silicone to seal those covers. You don't use enough, they're going to get leaking, and if you do use too much, you get it dripping back down behind the cover where you can't see it, and it drips into your oil. Now that RTV is really, really soft stuff. I don't see it causing too much harm. It's not. Then again, I haven't been into too many of these rear ends before. Let's check the race. can't feel not even a scratch. That race feels really good too. Feel nothing. This is a great looking bearing. Of course, this is the other side that wasn't making noise. All right, well, I'm gonna blow this stuff out with some air. Nothing. Let's see. I don't have any parts cleaner, do I? Brake parts cleaner. There we go. No grinding, no nothing. Crikey. Well, I don't know what to do. Rebuild it again? I didn't rebuild it the last time, the Ford dealer did. Yes, sirree, Bob. Okay, well, I'm gonna go check to see if there's any of this floating down in the bottom of the axle housing. And I'll be right back. All right, there's no goop in the bottom of the housing. Nice and clean fluid. I've measured these out as I took them out. This one is slightly larger for this side than this one. This is what, 240, no, this one's 246 and this one is 244 on the old measuring device. Zero it out. So this one says 2484. 2484. Or excuse me, 285, 284, 284, 283, 284. 264, 265, 264, 264, 263, 263, 263, 262. Okay, she's not zeroed out anymore. 266, 266. $265. And 2.8. So this one's slightly larger than this one is. Anyway, here's the other thing I was looking at. I don't think these should be so freaking hard to turn. Watch this. I mean, they don't want to turn. When the axles are inside and I'm turning this, I can feel and hear these things. Tunk, 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 tunk. I really don't think that should be so tight. Now there's a wavy washer here and a wavy washer on the other side. I'm guessing that's just so that it keeps a constant pressure on the spider gears. Wow, gears are looking okay. Well, why are they so tight? Maybe the last guy that rebuilt this rear end put too tight of a wavy washer in. There's also washers on that side and that side. They're a cupped spacer. Yeah, you wouldn't think that these would be so stinking hard to turn. They should just turn. So maybe I ought to start looking into that. God, I hate this. This was rebuilt in 2021. It was almost $2,700 to have it rebuilt. I'm not going to do that again. That's not going to happen. So yeah, I'll just pop these out and lay my eyes on them, I guess. Maybe my neighbor's got a little something to say about it. Let me check that out. He just pulled in. All right, neighbor came over. He said everything looked really good to him too, but he did also think, just like I did, that this being so tight is not normal. See that? I mean, you can get them to turn. But they're tighter than crap. So basically, I'm pulling these out right now. All right, we lost a battery, but we had a good one, a new one. Get a couple more gloves on. All right, so tight spider gears. You'd figure that would make a noise rather than a vibration, but and then also when you're going down the road straight, you know, these things aren't bouncing back and forth between each other. They should just be all riding at the same speed. See, that's nice. This one's whoa. Feels smooth. Uh-oh, look at that. That's broken. How did I not notice that before? Or, huh. Yeah, if this was riding, if this was my eye, I can't see anything. So I hope you guys can see this for me because my eye is twitching and squeezing tight and I can't see it. If this was riding on top of each other like this, that would make those gears tight. Yeah, it looks like it's been that way for a while. Okay. Put that one back in the side that it came out of now. Or actually, let's go ahead and put that back in. And let's look at this one. Good. I don't like. Where's my glasses? Put on my glasses. Alright. Alright, now I can see. See the discoloration? See the wavy? That's just to give it a spring-loaded tension so that it don't rattle around. I don't like the color of that, and I don't like that. This one's got the same little things on it. Crazy. All right, where that rides, is that screwed up now? Nope. It's not screwed up there. Not tore up there. Well, crap. Where am I going to get one of these wavy washer? Yay, wavy washer. Broken. Could that be it? Could that have caused my vibration? Alright, where is that? Is that? So if this is riding, you know, half on top of itself, yeah, that would definitely make that tight, but you would figure that it would just snap right back into place just like it just did when you finger it a little bit. Unless it snaps the opposite direction when it goes in, like that. See that? If you put pressure on these waves, push it down, they pop, it pops apart like that. Man, I got a brand new kit. I don't want to dig out just the wavy washers out of that kit. Let me go online and see if I can find some that we can get within the next couple days. I don't want to ruin a perfectly good master kit just to get those. Well, crap. We'll see in a few minutes. Okay, you guys, I feel like a maroon. I just had an epiphany last night. Just popped into my head. It's about this forward rear end. Okay, check this out. Man, you guys have probably been trying to tell me this the whole time. But, okay. If it looks like a duck, it probably is a duck. Because this one wasn't quacking. Don't those look like wavy washers to you? A wavy thrust washer? Okay. Well, they're not. These are just overheated flat thrust washers. We noticed the bluing on here, which we thought was just the natural color of turning this thing into a thrust washer or a wavy washer. But no, that's overheating, I'm pretty sure. This is my epiphany. This got so hot that it just turned into that, right? This one got so hot that it turned into this wavy washer. But this one got so hot that it broke. These waves are not uniform. They're really they're really ununiform, which is telling me that this is just an overheated flat thrust washer, not a wavy washer, which is why I could not find a part number for this or a schematic or anything that had a wavy washer in it. So I've got the flat washers ordered. So we're gonna put some flat washers in this thing today and get this thing running, if they come today. They're supposed to, but you know how parts are. Anyway, yeah, shoot, I thought that, you know, they look exactly like a wavy washer, a thrust washer that's, you know, got a little spring action to it. But shoot, no. That's gotta be just a regular flat washer that has overheated, which is why this thing was so bound up and tight, because these things were pushing so tight in. It was so hard for me to get these spider gears in when I was trying to put them in when it was in the carrier, and it just wasn't going to go. It was because these were putting way too much pressure inboard, trying to squeeze these gears that go here and here, here and here. When these ones are squeezing in, they're pushing in on these, making it really tight and hard to install. So that's the story. These bearings look great. These look great. The carrier looks great. The pattern looks great. The bearings look great. This is probably my fault. I'm going to clean this up. I cleaned out the housing. There was no more in it. We're not going to reuse the fluid or the oil. We're going to use all new oil, and I'm going to spray this down again and blow it all out, make sure none of that is left anywhere in here. This is probably me putting a little bit too much RTV on the top side, and when I put that cover on, it dripped down into the oil and then just got sucked up into the vortex of this thing spinning. So that's how that goes. So don't use too much RTV. I didn't think I did, but I'm going to use less. I'm going to spread it around and make sure that doesn't squeeze out and get into my carrier again. So that's it. That's how it goes. These were just overheated to hell, and they just warped because they're so thin. Created inboard pressure, which was causing my vibrations and the little bit of noise, I guess, from the one wheel. We'll find out when I get it put back together. Yeah. Huh. Okay, so I feel confident that that's what it is. We're gonna get it cleaned up, put together, get this thing running. Hopefully today. If not, it definitely will be tomorrow after work. But I'm happy I got this thing figured out. Even the neighbor thought that these were just regular wavy washers. You know, we both kind of didn't like the color, but we thought, well, you know, maybe that's just the color that they were, and then the color has been worn off, you know, from making the wavy washer. But no. And then the young kid across the street, he comes to visit. He said, "Hey, those look like they've been overheated." And I said, "Nah, that must just be the color they are." And he says, "No, that looks overheated." And me and Jake thought the same thing, that they looked overheated, but they were probably that's just the way they are. But no, heck no. There's no part number for a wavy washer, only for flat washers. So that's what I'm gonna do. Flat thrust washers in here. They're probably gonna be about 39 thousandths. These measure out to 29, so they're probably 30 thousandths. These being distorted, they're probably not gonna be right. But I got a pack of shims, so I'm gonna shim it out just right. We'll have the right number of shims, the right thickness, everything. Darn it. So when you're taking things apart, I had this apart, I just didn't notice that being broken, or, you know, the distortion, because I've never been into a Ford rear end, or even, I mean, I've been into other rear ends, not to pulling them apart like this, but keeping them, taking them out, doing seals, bearings and whatnot. Never had to pull these out and inspect them, but here it is. We're gonna get it fixed. So I'll let you guys know if this thing still makes noise and vibrates. I don't think it is. I think when we were heading up those mountain passes at, you know, 75 miles an hour, we weren't towing anything. It was just the three of us in an empty truck. But it didn't like the hill climb, I guess, going up, you know, going through the mountains of the Siskiyous, you know, Ashland, Oregon. Those are pretty good climbs up there in those mountains. And this rear end didn't like it, not at all. Okay, like and subscribe. All right, got good news and I got bad news. Good news is I can get this fixed. Bad news is Ford doesn't support those thrust washers for the side gears, for the pinion gears. I called around, nobody has them. Called the Ford dealership. He looked them up. He said there ain't a Ford dealership in the country that has those. Nobody has them. He says, but you can probably still find them. There's got to be an aftermarket maker for those. But Ford, he says, I'm not getting them from Ford. Ford doesn't have them. So I said, oh, great. So I called a local company around here called Randy's Ring and Pinion. Called them up. The guy, I gave him the Ford part number, and he said, well, that's not going to help me out because they don't work off of that. So he asked me what it was for and what I was doing. So he says, well, here, write this down. This is the part number that you need. And so I wrote it down. He says, that Ford part number, you're not going to find that anywhere with that number. You got to go with this other number. So sure enough, I looked it up for that other number, found them. It should be here tomorrow. So this is Monday, should be here tomorrow. I'm gonna have this thing done by Wednesday probably. I can't believe that I'm going through so much to find these thrust washers that it's just crazy. It was really making me pull my hair out, pun intended. Anyway, that's the update. Bad news is, if you're building these, Ford doesn't have them. Good news is, Yukon Gear does have them, and you can get them, you know, all over the place, off the internet, but you got to have the right part number or you're not going to find them. So cool, let's get this together.